Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I do have some people sleeping. So I'm going to try not to be too loud here, but I'm going to get going right now. Okay, so the first thing I got here is from XRP, and I want to show you a video. This is a clip of Anthony Pompliano on CNBC, I believe, yesterday. And then I want to show you why he's wrong about certain things. Not everything. The guy's a smart guy. He's right about a few things, but he's wrong about something. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, I mean, look, the data says a pretty compelling story that two things are true. One is, I think this data is back in December, over 65,000 digital wallets hold more than $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And so this is much more kind of democratized than people, I think, give it credit for. And the second thing is, if you go back to March 2020, when there was a 50% drawdown, what we see is the holders are actually accumulating more Bitcoin. So the strong hands are actually accumulating more and more. And so, yes, there are for sure people who have very, very big wallets. But when you start talking about tens of thousands of people who have, $1 million, when you kind of spread it out, you say how many have 0.1 Bitcoin, right? That's starting to be a pretty meaningful US dollar value. And so I think that what we're starting to see here is that this is a fully democratized system. It's a decentralized system. People around the world are using it. In countries where it's being banned, adoption is going up, right? There's no whales that are sitting there in Pakistan or Nigeria or India. These are people who are literally saying the current system does not work for me. I need a new system. And what they're doing is they're finding an ability to do that on peer-to-peer exchanges. And I think that's the story here, is that this is much more about the everyday person. Wall Street got front run. Retail front ran Wall Street, and now they're coming in and they're...
This is the part where he is 1,000% wrong. This is a perception that I think some of the powers that be want to be created, that somehow this libertarian movement front ran Wall Street, and it's not true, and I'm going to prove it. Okay, watch.
Buy $50,000 Bitcoin when retail was buying $10,000 Bitcoin and lower.
Well, that's sort of what I always saw as sort of the similarities between what we have been seeing with Bitcoin and what we've seen with the so-called Reddit rebellion, is that, the retail investor, the little guy, sort of saw the bigger picture story, stuck with it, and then Wall Street caught on.
Yep, I've seen enough. These people, I'm telling you, I can smell a narrative a mile away. And CNBC, there's a reason that they only have Bitcoin people on there. There's a narrative that you're seeing unfolding, and it includes the GameStop thing. The narrative is that these libertarian movements, they've just got a life of their own. They're doing all this, and I'm telling you, I even question now whether the GameStop movement was actually libertarian, because I'm watching this Bitcoin narrative unfold, and I know it's untrue. I will prove it to you now, and then you decide for yourself whether the GameStop thing could also be something that's made to look like a libertarian movement, but is not. Here's Tika Tawari when he was on the Glenn Beck show. This was back, I think, in 2019.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
Right.
Okay, George Soros.
In January 24th, price was already down, calls Bitcoin a bubble, says Bitcoin is the worst, the worst investment in the world. Don't buy Bitcoin. Basically throws gasoline on the fire at this point. And then what do we find out? So he says bubble here.
It drops 44%.
Right. And then here in April, 2 months later, guess what we find out?
Yeah.
His $26 billion family office has approval to buy cryptocurrency.
Right. And we only knew about it publicly
Right.
Here. And this is the kind of thing that George Soros is famous for this, talking the sterling down.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He stole the pensions of all the little people.
Yeah, made $1 billion.
Yeah. Okay.
So then here now, Goldman Sachs, this, again, February 7th, most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Now, I remember when they said this in February, and I had, through my network, I knew that Goldman Sachs was setting up a crypto trading desk. Absolutely knew they were setting up a crypto trading desk. And
I remember you telling me that.
Right. And then, of course, they were denying it. No,
Yeah,
we're
they
not. No,
announced
we're not. No,
custody
we're
a
not.
couple of weeks ago.
Price falls down 27%. And then what do we find out? We find out here, they say BTC 0. And then we find out just before May, new trading desk. Not only that, they put $400 million to buy a cryptocurrency trading platform.
All right, so that's a little bit of proof. Let me show you more proof. I've shown you this before. Trump administration popped the 2017 Bitcoin bubble. Ex-CFTC chair says this was on Bitcoin futures listed by the CME and CBOE were announced by CFTC December 1st, 2017 and went live on December 18th. That is what tanked the market back in the bubble. I don't even use the word bubble. Back when the market took off in 2017, that's what popped the bubble. They did it intentionally, and he says it in this article that they did it intentionally. And then they spent the next 2 years, so don't think these Wall Street guys somehow got caught by surprise. They popped the bubble, and then they went in and bought this stuff over the counter while they did the same thing I just showed you in that video with Tika Tawari. They were buying in the over-the-counter market, so it didn't drive the market up for the last couple of years. So don't think they haven't participated, and also don't think that these whales you hear referenced are not Wall Street people from around or Wall Street people, but people like them from around the world. Then there was this. Harvard, Yale, Brown endowments have been buying Bitcoin for at least a year. This was an article from back January 25th of this year. Some of the largest university endowment funds in the U.S. have been quietly buying crypto. Why do they buy it quietly? I wonder. Quietly buying cryptocurrency for the past year or so. Accounts held at Coinbase and other exchange CoinDesk has learned. So these are the schools that all the most powerful people in the world go to. Okay. In fact, Greg Kidd, he has a degree from each one of them. I was looking at, I've shown you his LinkedIn thing before. But anyway, not to bring him up. He doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about here. I'm just saying because he's got degrees from these and he's one of the powerful. But make no mistake, folks. These people knew before we knew. They knew. And not only that, and this is just my opinion, I've always thought Bitcoin was a creation of governments / the powers that be. Anyway. And I still believe that. Okay, this is not some big surprise where they got caught off guard. That's one of those please moments. Okay, Michael at VAL5 Links, head of St. Louis Fed, says Bitcoin not a challenge to U.S. dollar's dominance. This is yesterday on CNBC. I'll start at about the 1 minute mark.
Discounts to each other, and people did not like it at all. And so I think the same thing would occur with Bitcoin here. You don't want to go to a non-uniform currency where you're walking into Starbucks and maybe you'll pay with Ethereum, maybe you'll pay with Ripple, maybe you'll pay with Bitcoin, maybe you'll pay with $1. That isn't how we do this. We have a uniform currency that came in at the Civil War time. $1 is $1, and another thing about it is that there's already currency competition globally. There's hundreds of currencies globally. And some of them are privately issued, but they have to meet all the same restrictions that all of us do that try to run a currency regime. You have to have stability about future supply, and it's not at all clear and you have to have stable value against against goods and against other currencies. And private currencies aren't doing that. There's a lot of them being issued. Milton Friedman predicted that if you allowed private currency issuance, you would get a lot of them. That's exactly what's happened here. Thousands of coins, virtual coins, have been issued. And so this is just part of the normal currency competition that has gone on for centuries.
All right. I get a big whiff from that guy some type of a crackdown on the thousands of currencies. Okay, just wanted to show the market. We're over 1.5 trillion. Bitcoin has hit over 51,000 now, and so it keeps on going. And something I'll bring to your attention to remember, if you've seen it in the last few weeks and months, well, this thing goes in cycles. What you'll see is you'll see Bitcoin surge, and then Bitcoin will kind of sit there, might pull back a little bit, and then you'll see the altcoins start to surge. And that's kind of how this market has worked. Now, I believe you're going to see either imminently or in the next 6 months to a year or two, you're going to see a complete decoupling of this whole space. I believe you're going to see anything that doesn't have utility besides Bitcoin, because it has no utility. It's just store of value because it can't do anything else. I think you're going to see a complete decoupling, and the ones that have the real utility and the mega utility, you're going to see some of them like XRP pass Bitcoin, in my opinion. But in the short run, the market has always kind of followed Bitcoin, but that's a temporary problem. Write it down. Okay, I wanted to bring to your attention, iTrustCapital just added Stellar. You can now buy Stellar. So if you're wanting to open an IRA, or if you have a 401k from a job where you're not working anymore, that you can roll one in. You can create an iTrustCapital IRA and roll it into. You can roll your 401k into that, and it allows you to buy. Now you can buy Stellar. You can buy a lot of cryptocurrency as well as gold and silver. I have 2 of them myself, and there's a link in the description of my videos here where you can get a month free with those guys if you open an account. Okay, Bond Crip brought to my attention that Elon Musk is at it again. He's now pumped some coin called Mars coin. This gets funnier and funnier. This is from one of his posts, and people were replying. CZ Binance got in the mix, and he says it is necessary. Maybe call it Mars coin. And then Elon Musk says there will definitely be a Mars coin. Well, lucky for some Mars coin holders, there is a Mars coin already, and it has pumped over 400% because of that. You won't see the digital asset investor buying this, by the way. I don't hitch rides on green candles that don't have any utility. That's not how I play the game. Okay. And then this, I told you yesterday that I thought Link2 was going to be adding Uphold private equity. So they tweeted this out: to move money around the globe, you need friends in all the right places. Uphold has licensed relationships with banks and financial institutions in over 36 countries. That's how they exchange anything to anything. And then they're also one of the only companies that is buying, or that is where you can still go buy and sell XRP. But you can, they've added Uphold shares that you can buy. Now this is, just like Coinbase is about to go public, this is a company you could see going public in the next year or so. Don't be surprised to see that the shares are at 90 cents right now. So it'll be interesting to watch where that goes. And then Silver Digital Assets sent me this from the Saudi Central Bank to launch instant payment system on February 21. This is, let's see, it says the Saudi SAMA has announced that it will be launching the instant payment system on the 21st of February. This has come following the successful activation of the system's first pilot phase with several Saudi banks. Upon its activation, the system will allow financial institutions, companies, and individuals to complete transactions instantaneously across various banks around the clock. And I'd like to show you 2 Ripple videos having to do with this. This is the Saudi Central Bank, SAMA. Here's Ashish Burla from Ripple.
The last component is regulation, and you can't work with in payments without talking about the regulatory aspect. We've been working with central banks from around the world, SAMA in the Middle East, Bank of England, 2 examples that we've done pilots with to show the benefits of using blockchain technology to more efficiently move money. It's a big education project. This is something that we started 5 years ago, the conversations, the education. I think now other blockchain companies are starting to realize that you can't really innovate without taking the government and regulation in stride. We've been doing this for about 5 years. We have 40 different relations across the world to make sure that we're adhering to local regulations and standards as well.
Okay, so that's Ashish Birla talking about how they're working with SAMA. And then this is Dilip Rao. Listen to what he says about how Ripple is proceeding with this. He calls the Holy Grail, the XRP Holy Grail, that is.
No, so as I said, the X-current product, the way it's implemented today, uses fiat currencies. So the convergence that we see coming in the next phase is for banks to have an option to say, do I want to use XRP? So instead of the German bank holding Turkish lira, they could say, Akbank, are you able to accept XRP and give me Turkish lira? Here's 100 lira worth of XRP. Here's 1 million lira worth of XRP. And instantly that can be settled without having to hold balances. So that's the Holy Grail. That's the ultimate end goal that we're aiming for. But if you don't have connectivity, you can't even start. So first you get the banks connected. They do what they're doing today better. They like it. They build new services on it. Then they go, I want to do this in 100 countries, but I can't hold currencies in 100 countries. Well, guess what? You got XRP. So it's a phased strategy, but that's the way banking works.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that the XRP Holy Grail is going to be a phased thing. Thank you for listening.